Welcome into the First Word presented by Dr. Pepper. That's how you respond. Week 10 of the NFL season goes according to plan for Mike McCarthy's Dallas Cowboys, 43-3 over the Atlanta Falcons. It's the first time the Cowboys have won by over 40 points since 2000 when they beat the Arizona Cardinals 48-7. Been quite some time since the Cowboys have had a win quite like that, and we're breaking it down for you here on DallasCowboys.com. Barry Church, Nate Newton, Isaiah Stanback. I'm Kyle Youmans. And gentlemen, where do we start? I mean, there's a couple different ways you can start at this one, but really 36 points in the first half, largest output points-wise by any NFL team this season. What did you think about this one?
I think it was dominant. I think that this was a statement game. I'm not sure if they were trying to come back and make sure that they ball out just because of how bad the last 2 weeks were, or if they were doing this because Dan Quinn. Either way, we are the benefactors of it. They did a great job in every phase of the game. Offense, defense, and special team took care of business.
I just want to say great job, offensive line. You came up, gave up no sacks. You got Zeke off to a fast start. Your quarterback had perfect protection. I mean, look no further, man, than that offensive line and bouncing back.
Yeah, this was definitely a bully beat down for me right here. I mean, the Dallas Cowboys, they came out there, they shown to everybody that, the Atlanta Falcons don't belong on the same field as this team. And shout goes out to the defensive line. They were able to generate pressure and get Matt Ryan off of his kilter over there a little bit. And, I was questioning that coming in because I didn't know without Tank, without Gregory, how are we going to get pressure on this guy? But, Dorrance Armstrong, those guys stepped it up. Micah Parsons, of course, was able to get in there as well. So shout goes out to that defense. They played a heck of a game.
Really checking all the boxes down the list. There were a ton of things that coming from the Week 9 loss against Denver, the Cowboys really needed to accomplish today. Which one of those was most important for you to see the Cowboys actually come out on top and turn around from a week ago? And which ones did you see actually check the boxes again?
I would definitely have to say the run game for the defense. I mean, we saw them get gashed last week against the Broncos, but this week they kept Mike Davis, they kept Cordero Patterson in check for the most part, and they did a great job early on. Pitts was able to get going a little bit there, but they kind of clamped down on him, made that team one-dimensional, and shut him out. Great victory.
I just believe that, a small thing, the punt block, we took advantage of that this week here. The fourth down situation, we took advantage of that. I just like little things that we can do, man, to make ourselves better as the season go on.
Yeah, for me, it was character. I wanted to see the character of this team stand up. It was easy to kind of write off a game and say, oh, these guys had a bad game. But I think it was a character flaw last week. I think guys decided not to show up last week, and I wanted to see how they responded today. You saw exactly what the results of that were. They showed up and they were ready to play.
Each of you have been in a locker room like that, in a win like that, where everything seemingly goes right. It's much like how you guys been in the locker room where everything goes wrong, kind of how what it looked like last week against Denver. Is it a confidence boost as you go along like that could really flow into the remainder of the season?
I think so. I think the fact that they got back to having fun, right? They got back to everybody wanting to have a part in making a play. We've talked about that in past weeks, not recent weeks, but in past weeks where you don't want to be left out. When you're playing on a team that's highly successful, you want to be the next man to make the play, and we saw everybody show up and taking their turns today.
I mean, when you win like this right here, man, everybody do get a chance. Jordan Lewis balled out, man. A couple of other guys, Michael Gallup made his comeback, man, and did what he had to do. Heard Tristan Hill's name. I mean, everybody want to be a part of this, man. And this can catapult you. You got a Thanksgiving feast coming up that we know can be very hard on the team.
Yeah, this could definitely catapult them, to that playoff run that we think they can all go on. And I think it's all about how you respond. Last week they got embarrassed by those Broncos, and it could have snowballed for the season. They could have went out here and did the same thing against the Atlanta Falcons, but they held themselves accountable, and they responded well with a great victory, a great team victory out there, and hopefully they can catapult this into momentum for the rest of the season.
I don't think it could be understated just how much the Cowboys needed this game after last week, because the thing is now you go into the toughest stretch of the year. You got Kansas City up next, the Raiders on Thanksgiving, and then you play on the road in New Orleans. So you have 3 games coming up that are all very tough matchups. So, Isaiah, now that you're heading into that stretch, do you feel like the Cowboys are better suited for that run of games than they were maybe even coming into the week?
I think so. I think, anytime that you have a bad week or a bad 2 weeks, really is what we had, even though we had the victory against Minnesota. I think that you need to have this bounce back game. You need the game, and especially going into play against Kansas City, who's starting to catch fire as well. We know how much of a threat they are. We needed a game where you were hitting on all cylinders. That way you remove any question marks and you reassure yourself of the confidence that you have within your abilities and your opportunity to be able to execute against anybody that you face.
Atlanta's an average team. But when, we haven't had a game where we have went to 8. Out of 1 to 10, we haven't had a game where we've been to 8. We went to 8 today, and it went in the first half. And it gave you a chance to rest your players. So you've had a week where you've had total disaster last week. Now you have a week where you have total ecstasy. Is that a good word to use? I don't know. But here you are. Here you sitting now. Now you got to find that fine balance, because now you're going to face a team that has the potential to have the same type of offense you got with the same basically defense. Defense is just trying to hold on. Offense is explosive. So that we'll see. We'll see as time go on.
Yeah, we will see how everything kind of unfolds throughout this the remainder of these 3-game stretches. And like you said, they got a tough 3-game stretch. Kansas City, the Raiders, those are guys with offensive powerhouses right there. So this defense is going to have to come prepared for this 3-game stretch. But this game, this bounce-back game, definitely should prove dividends for this Cowboys team.
Biggest scoring output in the opening quarter, or excuse me, the first half, I should say, in the NFL this season. Largest win for the Cowboys in terms of margin of victory since 2000. Let's take a look at some of these final stats. This is what we will leave you with here on The First Word. Over 430 yards of offense. Statistically, it's not the best game the Cowboys have had this year, but quite possibly altogether an all-around win for the Cowboys moving into Week 11 of the season. The Kansas City Chiefs on the horizon, but they get the job done here in Week 10. 43-3, the final score. Cowboys win it. That does it for us here on The First Word.